let's drown deep in us. Oh, I, no fight, no fuss. Oh, I, let's drown deep in us, in us, in us, in us, in us. And he said, in us, in us. I'm that nigga. I don't think you heard.
Welcome back to Hi, I'm Uninspired. I am Scotty Beam, and I am here with a human that has a voice that transcends any dimension, any lifetime. Truly, it could transcend multiverse, okay? The multiverse. I am able to feel things, feel good things when I hear this voice. And I am so blessed to have him here today on the show. Okay, Durand Bernarr.
Yeah.
I am so kind of nervous because I've been a fan for many, many years. I think about 16.
Really?
We've been riding, we've been fans. And so I'm just so happy that you took the time right now to like sit with me and talk to me about being uninspired. And the many things, I guess, the many eras that you've lived through and the life that you lived so far.
So far,
baby. But how are you feeling today?
I feel pretty good. I feel like I got adequate rest. I was only going to hit the snooze for about 10 minutes and it ended up being an hour and a half. But, my body needed it. So, we're in a space of listening to our body. Because if you don't, it's going to make you listen.
I will say it's very pleasing to me and my homegirls that you have this album coming out, Bloom. First of all, I see you as a visionary. And I took a minute to go all the way back, not all the way back, but
back enough.
freshman album, Durand, right? And I decided to listen, just take the journey again. And I believe that with certain artists, there are albums that ask questions and then there's albums that answer. And I always wanted to know, what questions did Durand ask?
What were some questions? Well, Mixed was a question of, where's the music, and so it's, teaching patience. Here is the result of waiting. I'll let you know when it's time to come and eat.
The first album was pre-therapy.
Right before getting into professional therapy.
So I assume that there were many questions because I've heard a few questions in there where I would hope that, throughout just living, you have answered those questions. And then I see you as an explorer.
Absolutely.
Like a spirit explorer, and you share your discoveries through music. So I definitely feel like this album is going to answer a lot of things. That's why I wanted to know, what exactly are you answering in Bloom?
I guess I'm answering the question of, what is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I need? What is it that I want? And, before Bloom, we had En Route, which was the road trip from the last project to the next one. And it's like, we're arriving somewhere and we're arriving in love. What kind of love? And that's where all those different dimensions and layers come from. And more so talking about our community, like the love that we have for our friends. It's not talked about and discussed enough, the way that we enhance or glorify romance, but we don't talk about our friendships with our friends that have become family. And there's a difference between relatives and your family, and y'all need to sort it out.
Talk about it. And I want to talk about that later, because we're going to talk about friendships. There is a lot to be said about just people not pouring into friendships as much as they're supposed to. And so, I definitely want to talk about that. But also, the title Bloom, I love, because I'm a big flower girl. And people romanticize blooming a lot, but never really talk about the process of blooming, because it really depends on the type of flower and it depends on the environment.
Yeah.
So what type of environment were you in when you decided to tend to your garden?
I've always been in an environment where I had to tend to these relationships that have been able to sustain this long because I've watered them, because I've given them light, because I've had, talked to them, meet them where they are. I'm a firm believer of planting you in actual soil, not putting you in a pot to be put somewhere, for decoration. I don't look at that as love. I see us meeting where each other, where we are, and grow from there. So yeah, there's always been a tending to, and I think in our orbit, some flowers get closer, but I feel like as long as we're in that space, there's no some flowers don't need constant communication. Sometimes, there's friends where we speak every few months just to catch up,
right.
And there's no, oh, I'm sorry for being a bad friend because I didn't call you this week. It's like, babes, you have like 3 businesses that you're running.
Yeah.
It's all right.
They call that like a low maintenance friend.
Yeah.
And I've been called that, a low maintenance friend. I don't need to talk to you every day.
Yeah.
I don't, please. I talk to my mom every day. I have to try to sort things. I'm working. So it's hard to talk every day, but I see nothing wrong with being a low maintenance friend, but it's how I don't want to be treated like a low maintenance friend. And there's a difference.
Gotcha.
But also, on top of that, it's also knowing that you have a garden. I think some people see a patch of dirt and don't see garden.
Mm-hmm.
And realizing that you do have a garden, how did you get to that part and point in your life? Because a lot of people may just see dirt and not see that this could be a place where you could grow.
Probably coming to that realization would be when you have that feeling of, I really love who I am when you're around. You inspire me. You motivate. You motivate me. I'm finding that I'm given a space of accountability. A lot of times, we often, sometimes, not we, y'all, listen, if the shoe fit, will give their romantic partners way more chances than they will friends.
Okay.
And it's coming to my understanding that some of us view our friendships a bit more expendable than the romantic relationships, I guess, because you feel like, oh, I can have another friend, but I can't find another man. Right. Or, and it's just those friendships, those people are there when we are at our worst. That's the other thing that I just, the dynamic of friendships for me is at least me, I've never had to put on. It's not a performance. I'm not trying to put my best foot forward. I'm not trying to perform for you. I'm being myself.
You've never had to dim yourself for friendships?
Not that I've never had to dim myself. I think there's been a realization that someone might not have had all the resources that I have, both parents in the house, supportive parents, a loving father, who's present, and trying to share that, and it still being a realization like this is still something that I'm lacking,
right.
So regardless of how much I were to try to share, it still wasn't enough. So it just, you have those kind of situations as well.
Right.
But, that comes with growing and, being able to figure out where's this coming from,
Okay.
Yeah.
So since we keep bringing up friendships, I'm going to just talk about friendships right now. I absolutely love that you are decentering romantic love. And I think we don't put friendship love in front of romance, even next to. Shit, friendship love be in the back,
Babes.
child, and you treat your friends terribly. You give that nigga like 1,000 trillion chances, and then you give your friend about 2 in a possible, and you are out the door. You are out the door. When was it important for you to focus on friendships? When did that become? You've never been the type to be like, a romantic relationship is actually taking over my entire life?
Not necessarily taking over my life. I think I've never been one that would disappear when I would, be in a relationship. If anything, you would just see a new addition around, because I also want my friends to know what's going on and what they're seeing and what they're feeling. They're the eyes behind my head, you know. So as Spice Girl said, if you want to be my lover, you got to go with my friends. Make it last forever, because friendship never ends.
Right.
So that's something that I've incorporated. And then the moment that I really started to put more weight on my friendships was in 2021, and there was a moment that I had. We were on a trip. It was like 12 of us. I was having a moment. I was also in my skates, and I was crying while I was in my skates, and I felt like I should be like fighting somebody at this point, because when I have my wheels on, that's when I'm supposed to be feeling the most joy. Right. So the fact that I was having that moment, and so that prompted another friend to kind of have a moment of her own, and we're kind of like having our moment together. And so after we kind of calmed down and took a beat, she's speaking to all of us, and she said, you know, I like this right here. Is my person. However, I'm in love with each and every one of you. And it was the first time that a friend had ever expressed that kind of love in that dynamic. And so that's when I really started to lean into my friendships, the art of falling in love with your friends. When you have a certain empathy for each other, where their peace of mind is just important as yours, and, you know, you become extensions and reflections of one another.
Because I was just about to ask you that too. I mean, as when I decided to do this interview, I was like, let me tell you something. So I write down all the things I feel about the artist, especially if I'm a fan, first, before I do the extensive research. But I the first thing I wrote was, I love how he pours into his community, right? I love how you do that. And I always wanted to know, how has love from friendships enhanced or changed the way you love yourself?
It's taught me to stand on business when it comes to grace. I'm always preaching about it. I'm always telling people to extend it to themselves. And so when it's time for me to receive it, you know, it's kind of like, so working on that.
Well, you did say an impact that
I'm gracious, not graceful.
I'm gracious, not graceful. Please explain what that meant, because in my mind, I'm sure I thought of something completely different.
Yeah, no,
the way that I think.
I have good balance, but then there's like the graceful part of it where I'm knocking over stuff, or I'm tripping over things, or knocking off someone's glasses. Like, it's just, Lord have mercy. So that's what I talk about, the intention behind the impact. Being in close proximity, these shins are gonna meet some kind of hard surface at some point or another, but you know, I'm not trying to do any harm.
Right. But also because, I mean, you take risks. You take tons of risks. And not just with the content that you talk about, because that's a risk within itself, but also your instrument, Durand. Like, your instrument takes people to different places. I can close my eyes and imagine a different euphoria, you know, where I feel like I'm lighter, or I'm happier, or I'm sadder, or you make me feel a lot of things.
Aww.
So I just wanted to know, like, as far as taking risks, have you always been a risk taker? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have, 100%.
My mother brought up a critical thinker, and she is responsible for my curiosity remaining intact. So yeah, I'm always asking questions, more so about me.
What about trusting your voice?
Oh, that is a relationship. That's a whole book in its own, because you have to trust your voice, and you trust it by spending time with it. And I've spent a great amount of time with my voice. I would always find it very almost jarring when I would hear people certain people say, "It's been like 3 years since I sang." 3 years. I can't even go 3 minutes without a random hum coming out of somewhere, So it's just always been there. Like I said, it took me serious. Music took me serious before I took it serious. So yeah, that's, and also I'm not so hung up on the perfection of it all. I think I'm more so about the delivery, singing smart, leaving room for me to still keep it interesting. But if I want to go somewhere, I can go there. If I can manipulate it, like there are different ways in which that you can utilize it. So
yeah. I mean, the technique is there. You've, I guess, worked on the technique forever.
Watch my technique.
The technique is there and it's loud. Okay, but it's like you don't sing scared. I've never seen you sing scared, even from YouTube. You've never sung, to me, in my eyes, from what I've seen. I've never seen, as soon as your mouth opens, it's like, whatever ride I'm about to get into, it's going to be a ride, and I'm excited about it. But it's like, you never fuck up. You never miss. I've watched thousands.
Child, I got a clip that I could pull up right now, child.
And I'm pretty sure to your ear, which is trained, it probably is something bad. But baby, to me, who can only sing about 2 notes in a possible,
it was just, see how I look at it as, it was a plane ride, from, we had a nice takeoff, and we had a nice little cruise. And in between the cruise and the landing, there was some turbulence.
Absolutely.
Just a little turbulence. And, I didn't really know what was going on. Can't even really blame it on the sound, even though the sound was not doing what it needed to be, Lord. But, but it was funny, like, listening to it. Like, I laugh at it now because it's just like, ooh, bitch, what was happening?
Well, also, everybody knows the product. Everybody knows.
Oh yeah, I don't care about that anymore, about hitting around on it. It's like y'all niggas know I can sing. Fuck y'all.
Please.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. On top of that, but also I have a question, because I think with singers who are looking up to you, because there's so many, everybody tries to mimic.
But so many. But that's good, because I'm an excellent student. Like, I've been a sponge to some of the greats.
Right.
So if you're gonna study anybody, yes. Study that, because I am a genuine student of my craft.
But what's the difference between studying and finding your own voice and mimicking or mirroring?
Gotcha. So, and you know what? I can use myself as an example for this. So when I did my, so let me start with this. We all have inspirations and things that we pull from to find what our own identity is. And what you don't want to do is get so caught up in what someone else does that you lose your voice. And so even when I did my 8 EP, that was, my dedication to Erica.
Yes, Erykah Badu's.
And I remember, listening to so much of her stuff, getting the medleys together, all that. And then after I finished that project, there was still some of that was bleeding over in the music after that. And so I was like, wow, I'm kind of losing what I need to do. And I'm still in that, in that space, in that era. So it's just important to, yes, be able to pull from, but also go to your inspiration's inspiration. Maybe there was some things that they didn't pick up that you could, that you might like. But I always say that, like, go to the source of the source.
Yeah, go into the source. Because when I hear you sing covers, like, just sing other people's songs, I still hear you. Mm-hmm. And I still want to hear that version. And that's hard for a lot of singers to do. There was
Luther, and then there's me.
Right. Oh, well, talk about it. Yeah.
Because Luther would take your song and just...
In a second.
It's like...
In a second. Dionne Warwick was shook. The amount of songs that was taken from my girl. And so I was like, I do believe that you have to know and trust your voice in order to even sit and be like, oh, my favorite artist missed that part. Because that...
Or I would have did it like this,
That takes a lot. That takes confidence.
Yeah.
A lot of confidence.
And also still respecting the original composition
Yeah.
and putting your identity on there. That's the thing. And I always use Layla Hathaway's cover of Angel as a perfect template for that. She gave us that melody for at least the first 2.5 verses. And then she started to sprinkle herself in there in between and kept it interesting the entire song without overdoing it or like losing the essence of it. And I just, hey, Layla.
The greatest. And you've always been an amazing collaborator. You've been great with working with artists. I ask people who work with you all the time, and they absolutely love you.
Aww.
They cannot get enough of you. You are extremely positive, but also you're an artist's favorite artist. You know, you love the music. And now that you bring up 8, when you took that risk, was it even a risk? Was it even a risk for you? Because I don't think you saw what could have happened. I think you were just putting it out to just, you know, what you said was, this is dedicated to Erykah Badu and me.
Yeah.
This is for us.
Yeah.
Y'all could, you know, y'all could come up in here.
This was something that, like, this is for us to experience and everybody else can be included.
Right. And this was February of 2010.
Yeah.
This is, baby, we've been around. And so I would say working with, you know, first of all, guys, he made it. Erykah Badu heard it, loved it, needed him, got him to sing background on tour the next year. Working with Erykah Badu and learning from her, how has that challenged you as an artist?
To know my shit so that I can enjoy myself, not take myself so seriously. Try stuff. You know, try stuff.
I wanted to know what album changed the way that you created music and also changed the way you put together a body of work.
That would be Kaleidoscope. December 1999.
Yes.
Neptunes produced.
What about the
Khalees.
album that made you?
Khalees is just, first of all, she's been that girl.
Talk. I will start screaming in here.
She's mother for a lot of them, and she's the reason I wanted to grow my hair out when I was in my late teens. I loved how the Neptunes made her sound. I loved the subject matter. It wasn't anything that was what I was used to hearing.
Yeah.
Caught Out There just caught me, like gathered me, and then Get Along With You. Mars, like Roller Rink, Game Show. But then also we had Wonderland, which was my homage to that project, Wanderlust.
Which is your sophomore.
Yes, allegedly. It was really, child. If we're gonna, I mean, just it's funny hearing people say that Bloom is my third project when it's actually my 13th noodle that I've thrown at the wall.
Baby, I was looking at these albums. I'm like, okay, but which one is an album and an EP? Because now no one can tell anymore.
So EPs, at least from what I go off of, EPs are a shorter body of work that's about 7 to 8 songs, like, or 7 to 8 tracks. But they, of course, changed what's eligible for like a Grammy, you know, as far as like. But for me, it's En Route is an EP.
Okay.
Charlie Vituno, that's an EP, even though the length of it makes it an album because the last track is all of the songs combined, like as a flow. But that's an EP. Soundcheck was an EP. Extra Stinking Christmas was an EP. Everything else, that's out. Everything else was an album. Durand was the album. Yeah.
Wanderlust.
LP. But this will be
Bloom is an album.
Bloom is like we're going back to late 90s, early 2000s, like how long albums used to be.
Is Kaleidoscope also your coming of age album?
Ooh. Yes. Probably more so Wonderland.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mama's Gun. definitely like the soundtrack to teen years for sure. Specifically, Kiss Me on My Neck. Clever for sure. Like, I Gotta Be All Right With Me.
Green Eyes. Let me tell you something.
Tell me.
Because that's my coming of age album. It's Mama's Gun. But it's my constant coming of age.
Oh, yeah.
Like, sure for 15, sure for 25. And now I'm about to be 35 this year. Like, I can listen to it. I remember I was turning 30 and I listened to it and I was like, this really embodies who I am. From the first to the last song.
That's a serious opener. Like, Penitentiary Philosophy is so...
It's nasty.
Yeah. And I love how just the entire, like, the first 7 songs, like, just flow all together.
Yeah.
And then we start to break it up.
Yeah. And I remember, I think because I was too young, too, for a lot of these songs.
Oh, yeah.
When it came out. So, even Bag Lady.
I thought she was talking about luggage, physical luggage, the whole time until 19 rolled around. I said, oh, emotional baggage.
And still, I didn't even know they was talking about that until later. I was in Walmart like at 27 and I'm just grabbing stuff and I'm listening to it and I'm like, hold on. But it only happens, the way that I listen to music, it only happens when I'm going through something similar that I'm like, hold on. Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Or hold on, is he talking about me? I love to process music in other ways as well, but when I'm going through things and Bag Lady came out, I said, oh, Erykah Badu said, pick your shit up and deal with it.
Also, I also have to give another honorable mention. When we're talking about coming of age, like before I even hit the teen years, Seal.
Hey.
The 1994 self-titled A Kiss from a Rose and Prayer for the Dying.
Hey.
Oh. I only loved those songs as a child because of the melodies.
Yeah.
As an adult, I saw him 2 years ago for the first time ever. Hearing these songs about life and love and loss and redemption and purging, it was my inner child and my inner teenager both were just triggered so delightfully.
Yeah.
He had 2 songs back to back where he talked about not crying, and baby, I could not get with the memo or the assignment because just weeping.
Really?
Yes.
I have to revisit. I haven't.
Baby, Bring It On, opening up with Bring It On and then going right into Prayer for the Dying. It goes on.
And he was just in a Super Bowl commercial. He's still doing work.
I love Seal.
I love Seal. So shout out to Seal.
Yeah.
We love you.
Can we do a song? Seal, call Sade so we can do a song together.
He gonna call.
Actually, that's Maxwell with the plug because he, you know, the band Sade played on Maxwell's first album.
Really?
Ooh, that's Sade.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that. See? I did not know that. Now, when we talk about Maxwell, I do not play about that man.
Listen.
I do not play about that. Because
what's your favorite song that's not a single?
Ooh. Hold on. Well, it's Whenever, Wherever.
It was a single.
That's a single?
It was.
We wasn't really. But, okay, hold on. Because I was reborn when I was broken. You wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. I don't give a damn if that's a single. Lifetime? Me and my mom talk about how it was written, like how it's perfect. Like, people give a lot of love to Pretty Wings and all the other songs, but Lifetime?
Mine?
Hold on.
So first of all, my Maxwell album is Embryo. That second album is Masterpiece.
Oh, let's not play the game. I'm so sorry.
That's Coco Cure. That's Matrimony.
Yes.
That's the opening.
Maybe you.
You are
One
me
of the
and
best
we are you. And then he started singing in Spanish.
Yes.
Like just But my jam outside of Drown Deep Hula, then we have With As My Girl on the Now album. Like just that's the I gotta get to know ya, know ya, know ya. Ooh.
But let's not play the game. You remember that?
I think was that on the single?
It was on the Best Man.
Okay, yeah.
Best Man soundtrack, and they had all the Best Man characters in the music video. I was a music video girl. VH1, soul, heavy. Me and go together. Sing what was the other one you said? The hula.
Oh, Drown Deep. Oh, let's drown deep in us. Oh, no fight, no fuss. Oh, let's drown deep in us, in us, in us, in us, in us. And he said, in us, in us. It's the air, like just soften. Just
let's go back to talking about friendships.
Yes.
Because so Virgo.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's be for real. So for real. Okay. My first question to you about friendships is, what was a friendship ick about you? You.
Me.
That you decided to change. That you was like, oh, I don't like that about myself. That was crazy.
Friendship ick.
We all have friendship icks.
I stopped. I have now resisted the urge to correct people.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I got that from my mother. So that was something I had to unlearn. And it's like, girl, first of all, you taught music, so gone somewhere. You always trying to correct somebody's English. But especially like with spelling, it's like I understood what you meant. I don't need to correct what like. First of all these words is made up.
Okay.
So if I say rudity, I don't want to hear nothing. You knew what I meant. First of all, bootylicious is in the dictionary.
Okay. Wednesday. That's what I call it.
So Wednesday, listen.
Wednesday, champagne.
Come on now, champagne. Geo party. That's how I know how to spell it.
I do that all the time, though. I am like that.
Yes.
But clearly, yes. And also tone.
Yeah.
Because you can correct somebody with love.
Absolutely.
And I love correcting people through love. I love it. I also love correcting people without love. But correcting people through love, especially friends. I'm just saying friendships. I like to correct people through love. Not all the time we need to hear the correction.
Yeah, and as I always like to say, why are you trying to correct what was already understood?
Yeah, what's the point?
What's the point? Now you wasting time, mine and yours.
So why did you used to correct? Do you know?
It was a habit. Because it was done to me.
Because it was done to you.
It was done to me all the time,
right,
you know.
Right,
so it's just being able to just unlearn certain things that we will sometimes say, well, that's just who I am. Nah, babes, you were conditioned that way.
Yeah.
And at any point in time, you can always unlearn that. Okay, so I think every 5 years or so, we should revisit certain bodies of work and movies.
I agree.
Every 5 years or so,
Wait, 5 years.
Every 5 years.
5 years.
So you're about to be 35 right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to revisit Mama's Gun. We need to revisit Sir Maxwell Projects. Like just bodies of work that we probably wouldn't have like caught certain things. I need to make a list of certain and movies too. Like what have you watched Waiting to Exhale?
I just watched it yesterday. Swear to God.
On shrooms?
No. I watched it high before.
Babes, you must.
Why? What are some things that you've noticed? Because I know the whole monologue.
Oh, listen, 7:32.
This motherfucker is psychotic. The serial killer's less anal.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And then I can go into the rest, but I won't do that because I have things.
Yeah. No, seriously.
But absolutely, what did you notice though? While on shrooms.
So I really felt the characters, like genuinely felt the characters. And one thing that always brings me back to reality with the film is, regardless of what these women encountered in their lives, they always had their friendship to rest on. And that's something that just, baby, when you've got friends to wish you well, baby, wait, exhale. That is one of the most profound records with no hook, with lyrics in it. Like, I just, for every win, someone must fail.
Babyface. Yeah, it's true.
I need, like, that. One of the most, for me, one of the most profound and simplistic, but just records about life and love and friendship. That just,
I love that damn movie. That movie I've watched 1,000 trillion.
That and How Stella Got a Groove Back. Now that's me in Perfume movie.
I just watched this 2 days ago. Hulu got a thing where, like, if you watch one black movie, you must watch all. So I started with Wait and Exhale. I watched Stella Got a Groove Back.
Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
I've watched that.
Baby, what the fuck is going on up in here? Oh, I'm sorry. I was just staying for the weekend. I'll be leaving tomorrow. Oh, you're leaving tomorrow? No, you're getting your shit and getting the fuck out now. Baby, the way Hallie brought Cleveland to the screen. That was Cleveland right there.
No, yes, I agree. I do want to go back to Crooklyn. I want to revisit Crooklyn. There's a lot of Spike Lee joints that I haven't watched in a very long time.
Yeah.
But Wait and Exhale is my safe space. Mm-hmm. Whenever I'm having a bad day, or whenever I'm sad, or whenever anything, nigga issues, non-nigga issues, I'm a watch Wait and Exhale.
Yeah.
I Am Bernadine. My friends have the names. Like, they don't know that I've named them who they are. I love them so.
Okay.
And it's just for me.
Okay, just for you.
It's just for me.
Okay.
But the friendship. I grew up not knowing. I wasn't necessarily a girl's girl when I was younger. I was a tomboy. Mm-hmm. I was around dudes all the time. And also I started in hip hop, which wasn't a lot of women in there. And so there just wasn't a lot of camaraderie. But growing up and watching Wait and Exhale, when I think around 21, I was like, okay, I need to figure out how I can have friends who wish me well. Mm-hmm. And then get to the point where I exhale. Like, I want to experience that. And I've gotten to do that through work and finding friends that actually see me.
And I also want to touch on this too. I know for some people, they have a mindset of, making friends in our adulthood is hard. No new friends, that type of thing. And we have to remind people is that not everybody is out to get you. Like, there are actually people who genuinely want to see us win. They are rooting for us. They want to support us in whatever capacity that there is. Yeah, there are people who are jealous and, want what we have or want to hate. However, why don't we focus on the people that are actually there to support us?
Right.
Like, let's put energy into that.
Yeah.
And again, that's when I say focusing on things that you have control over. And what you have control over is the things that you invite into your space. Invite positivity. Invite the people that genuinely want to be there in your corner.
Right. And I think because the betrayal, sometimes I think for people, betrayal is so loud that they can't honor or just turn their back against the betrayal and see all the love that they get, which speaks to what you were talking about earlier with decentering certain things, right? There are people who see themselves as unlovable because they don't have romantic love.
Yeah.
Because they don't look in the direction of friendship love or self-love or any of...
I got one more relationship in me before I shut your ass up, please. If you want to be alone, just be alone without the announcement. They don't want to be alone, though. That's the thing. It's a... But what about me, babes? Like, just You don't have to talk about how you done with it in order for folks to be like, well, no, don't. Not you. Like, babes.
Durand.
Reel it in. Please, for all of us.
So, yeah, I think, sorry. I do get exhausted with that because but they're alone and they feel lonely. And so I love that this album is going to highlight the love that we may overlook. And that's super important because what we need right now, and I hate that song, but we need love.
We do.
We need love.
We need boundaries too.
We need boundaries and we need love. Mm-hmm. And we need love in all different forms. Yeah. It doesn't have to take just one form. It could just look differently, have different types of love, and you are loved. Mm-hmm. People just walk the world thinking that they're unloved. There's a lot of girls that reach out to me about feeling unlovable because a man decided that they didn't want to love them anymore.
And ain't that something? See what happens when you center men? You can't do that. It's not good. It's gonna get wrinkles, you know.
It's gonna get wrinkles,
you know. So it's
who made them the fucking the end all be all? Who has made them where, hey, if that man can't love me, I can't be lovable? Which sounds insane to me sometimes.
It's a reality, and I would hope that that kind of mindset is short lived when you have people in your life that can remind you that you are enough on your own. Not in a sense of on your own where you can't be loved, but outside of romance. And yes, there are some of us that genuinely desire romance, and it's being aligned at the time where both of y'all can do this, because there could be a version of someone that you would meet that would be perfect for the version of you 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
Like, have you ever met somebody and you were like, babes, there's a version of me that's expired like 7 years ago that would have been a shoo-in for you right now.
Mm-hmm. And there are people who have outgrown their 5 year and are still with that person who sees them as that 5 year ago version. And it's heartbreaking to say, but I think people are just trying to keep love in whatever it looks like, even if it no longer serves you. They just want to keep it around.
I would at least say this. The love that I've been able to experience with my friends, the trust and the safety that we've been able to cultivate has set the tone for how I want to move in a romantic relationship. That's really that's what it really boiled down to. They showed me, oh, I can feel safe. I can feel seen. I can be heard. I can be respected. I can be considered. Yes. You can call me in and not try to call me out and embarrass me.
Yes.
You know, so when you have spaces like that, it's like you have to do more than just you bring in what your fat ass and whatever kind of equipment we rolling with. Mm-hmm. It has to be more than just that. Mm-hmm. So having friends who wish you well and make you love who you are when they're around, that sets the tone for all these other relationships. So if they're not bringing that, if they're not making you feel safe, you know, that doesn't work for me, because I got somebody right here who is doing all of that already. You know, I give foot massages. I take the trash out. I cook for my friends. So that's us helping one another. That's us exchanging, transferring information and resources.
Yeah.
We set dates. We make plans, lifelong plans. Where we finna move to? What do you need? Like, yeah.
And most importantly, if you don't find the love, I know that maybe it won't be enough, but I'm going to love you. Like, I'm going to love my friends until the last breath is in my body. I'm going to love you past what I think I can do. I'm going to do my 100% when it comes to loving my friends.
Yeah.
But I've never even thought about thinking about my needs in a romantic relationship or a romantic partner and being like, well, yeah, I'm going to need the things that I get from my friends because we don't see them as friends. And we should see them as friends. You should be friends with who you're going with. That's very true.
That's why it's a little difficult, I guess, sometimes to like somebody like that and you're trying to be friends before you get into that space. But I think that the two can also coexist. Like, you can be friends with someone and get to know them in a romantic way. It's just about how transparent y'all want to be with one another.
I was just about to say, people don't want their feelings hurt.
Yeah.
I think my friends are not afraid to hurt my feelings, and I'm not afraid to hurt theirs. We speak openly.
Yeah.
When you're doing that in a relationship or a person that you like, it is harder because you don't want to expose those fears. And also, you don't want to run them away with how transparent. And I have a transparent issue. This is what it is. This is how I am. And it's like, well, what's the, mystery? And I'm like, no, I don't have time to be mysterious. This is who I am.
Yeah. Certain things I don't want to find out in the midst of it. Like, we kind of need to know what we're getting ourselves into.
Exactly.
Before we even do all of that. Certain surprises I don't like. Not those kind when it comes to if we're trying to merge businesses here emotionally. We need to know that we're on the same page in certain areas. And I think just being able to be transparent, laying certain things out doesn't mean that there is no mystery, because we're always growing. We're always figuring things out about ourselves. The version of me that you met last week is not me right now.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be an update. I'm going to update in my sleep, and I'm going to wake up and be like, oh, shit is new.
Yep.
Now I got to let you know shit is new.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you can rock with,
right?
Because I want you along the ride.
Absolutely. But I think, it's a tough thing to navigate, especially, unfortunately, fucking with men. So it's just a different.
Child, we all tired.
What was your biggest misconception with going to therapy, or before you went to therapy?
I had none at all.
No?
I didn't think that it was something for crazy people, or I personally just wanted to check under the hood just to see what was going on. Because I wasn't going because I felt something was wrong. I was just like, what are some characteristics or some ways about myself that I might have under the guise of, oh, that's just who I am. That's my personality. Nah, babes, that's actually a reflex from trauma and unmet wounds that you might want to take inventory on. So
yeah, well, because I started therapy because I thought that you go to therapy and you just get healed. And I know before I started therapy, I was like, I'm going to therapy and I'm gonna heal this and I'm gonna be good to go. And then I went to therapy and there was more things I needed to heal from. And then on top of that, we never really talk about how I don't think you'll ever be healed.
There's no such thing as healed.
Thank you.
You are always in a constant state of healing.
Yes.
I think what I say is be far along enough in your healing where you're more of an asset than a liability. Like, because this whole concept of, I remember I said something and I had to immediately retract it. I was like, yeah, my favorite flavor of man is a healed one. It's like,
is it?
You're not even healed, bitch.
Right.
So yeah, no, but being in a state of healing where we can be of use to one another in a positive way. Yeah,
absolutely. Because also, you're not done living your life. So there are more pains to feel. There's more love to feel. There are more emotions that you probably can't even name or put a name to yet.
Baby.
So there are parts in your life that you haven't even experienced yet.
Haven't touched yet.
Yeah, and so you will for always and forever be healing. And that broke me. Because that was a lot of work.
It is.
For the rest of my life.
And I would like to say, it is important that OBO Jones said something. Shout out to OBO. He said that a friend of his said, yeah, I'm taking this month off, from doing the work. He was like, I beg your pardon? Exactly. I'm taking this month off from doing the work. And he was like, it made me realize, wow, we are always constantly go. I got to improve. I got to go. If you got time to watch Netflix, you got enough time to start another income. But just like when you go to exercise, you need to rest so that your body can recover.
Yes.
And so even emotionally and mentally, we don't always have to be in a state of doing the work,
Yes.
It's important to just be sometimes. And I always say doing nothing is something. So when somebody says, oh, what are you doing today? I'm not doing anything. Oh, great. No. What I'm doing is the something I'm doing.
Yeah. And let's talk about boundaries.
Let's talk.
Because on YouTube, you said boundaries is on a world tour.
World tour.
World tour.
And Tired is the opening act, baby.
The opening act.
And you want to know who the band is? Exhausted. Maybe they tearing it up to and fro.
And you know what bothers me is that we have to be exhausted and tired in order to enforce boundaries.
Here's the thing about that. We don't know what our limits are until we're pushed to them. So we have to figure out what our limits are. Whether that is seeing someone else's limits and seeing, oh, I'm not going to allow myself to get pushed to that point.
Facts.
Or experiencing your own and say, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure. And also there is a fine line between walls and boundaries. Baby.
Expound.
Oh, yes. Brick. Brick. Okay. Solange. Thank you. So walls are built from fear, unmet wounds, trauma, all that stuff. Boundaries are transparent. You can see right through them and you announce them with a smile.
Oh.
Absolutely. And there's no, like...
You've never been a people pleaser.
I was for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
What's that, like half a year?
It was horrible. It was the worst 5 minutes of my life. Like, and in the midst of it, like in the midst of my people pleasing, I got a handshake from the very crusty ass boys that was talking shit about me in the first place.
Oh God. Yeah. No.
Terrible.
That's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't recommend it.
Pleasers have a hard time. Like me, I can't. I'm learning. I'm doing very well, by the way.
Love that for you.
Of naming and saying what my boundary is. But that's when shit starts to fall apart. Because you name a boundary, you set a boundary, then your worlds start to collide, people start to shift, people start to, I guess, have this idea of how you've changed. And yes, I have, because I'm evolving. But as far as, just things shifting, it makes you want to get scared and run back to just taking the boundaries away.
So I will say this. When you set boundaries, the people that want to be in your life will adhere to those boundaries. There will be no second guess about it. I check in with my friends periodically. How can I be a better friend? Is there anything that I can do better? How can I show up for you? So if no one can take the kind criticism to say, hey, when you do this, and I'm not saying this is who you are, I'm not judging your action to who you are in totality. I'm saying when you did X, Y, and Z, that made me feel this way. That's giving them an opportunity to be accountable. If they don't want to be accountable, that lets you know their place in your life isn't that important. But if someone is when they are really about you, they're like, baby, what do I need to do? What's the new boundaries? We want to make sure we adhere to that because I want you. You are not expendable to me. You're not irreplaceable.
And that means a lot. I think
sometimes the trash will take itself out.
Very true. Very true. Even though they're probably 15-year friendships.
Listen, some trash is old, baby.
Friendships.
How many shirts you got in your closet right now that you ain't worn in 10 years? I'll wait.
True. That's very true. That's very true. And I remember in a song, I think Racket.
I love her. Ooh, Racket is the Velociraptor of the Durand album.
Yeah.
I always say that,
Yeah.
like, cause you forget if you're a Jurassic Park buff, the Velociraptors don't show up until like middle toward the end. It's like you forgot about them because they gave you T-Rex and all the other the things and whatnot. Yeah.
And you had said like, they try to hide me, like a keepsake, right? And then you were like, I think you were scared what I look like next to you, which was it was a bar. But you might be scared and don't want me to do better than you.
Oh, yeah. There's the whole concept of people want to see you doing good, just not better than them.
Better than them.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think, I'm just thinking about friendships as far as this is concerned. I think we can see this in so many different aspects of our lives. But I wanted to know how if you've ever had to deal with dimming yourself in friendships where, your talent, I mean, first of all, your aura is sickening, right? And it really attracts a lot of people, but also may get a lot of jealousy because people don't possess, and especially when people suffer from or are imprisoned by societal ideas, norms, or whatever it is, and they can't break themselves free like you or be free like you. So how do you extend grace to people who want what you have?
People wanting what they haven't like gone through to obtain. Like I there's a quote that says, if you only knew the violence I had to undergo to be this gentle, to be this kind, I look at it as just a testament of who I am as a person. I couldn't. Chris Garrett said, like will get you into rooms, love can't. I'm gonna say that again.
Yes.
Like will get you into rooms that love can't. When you have a good attitude about yourself, when you're moving with a certain light about yourself, that will get you into doors, that will put you into positions where you can shine, where you can be, so that's how I move. So if someone doesn't want to move in a positive way, but you're wondering why you're not getting where you need to get, which by the way, I'm not saying that you can't get far in life being grimy. Okay, have y'all seen The Founder? You can absolutely. You just can't be getting far in life being grimy and stupid.
Absolutely.
But I would take the latter. Being kind, just that's easier for me. It comes natural. And there's a difference between being nice and kind.
I always say that.
Yeah, nice is
nice. You can really see the door. I'm never going to be nice.
Yeah, the root word of that means naive.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be nice, but I am superbly, very, very kind.
And do you know that kind comes with boundaries? People think or have the assumption that kind means that they can just walk over you, and that's not the case. When you are kind, you advocate for yourself as well.
Right. Because you're kind to yourself.
Absolutely.
So as far as showing kindness to yourself, how are you kind to you? On a daily basis. Yeah.
I try to get as much rest as I possibly can, whether that's squeezing a nap in. I got to get a little water in. Weed, of course. Just got to even ourselves out. Dr. Hybrid.
Can you function? Can you do stuff? Or I can't. That's why I'm asking. I can sleep only.
It's so funny. When I was getting my my blood work done with my nutritionist, and they were asking me the questions like, how often do you drink? And I drink socially. Well, how often do you smoke? Momentarily. I'm actually smoking right now. But yes, I'm a very, very extremely functioning pothead.
I aspire, because I honestly feel like I can't do shit. I will stare at someone for hours.
Really?
Hours.
That means you a 2 puff. I'm there.
Oh, I'm a 4 puff.
You a 4 puff?
Don't sleep on it now.
Okay, listen.
I do a little 4.
Okay.
5.
Listen.
But am I finishing the... Absolutely.
See, I'll face one first thing in the morning. Let's.
And then you will get up and do things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a blessing.
But also, as long as it's not indica first thing in the morning, nobody's trying to be, groggy. Sativa, hybrid, but not indica first thing in the morning, y'all. Come on.
I think that's all a lie. The indica, the sativa, the hybrids, the hybrids, all of it don't make sense to me because they all make me extremely exhausted. So I don't understand how that works. But I aspire truly, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think has been the key to your musical evolution?
Bringing other people, other minds, other brains in.
How are you able to work with others so easily? And, there are a lot of horror stories with other people. But I was listening to a lot of songs that you're featured on. And they might not be the most popular, but they are the most musical. How do you go about picking who you want to work with?
Whoever inspires me. It's really that simple.
Really?
Yeah. If it's jamming, I'm there. Doesn't have to have 1 million streams, hundreds of thousands of followers. If you come ready, and then yeah, there were a few projects that I was able to be a part of that was some artists' debut, album. So to be in the number of I rocked with you then, before the world caught on, So yeah, I just want to sprinkle myself all over the place. It's not a thing to have to do the lead all the time, I'm much like a Luther that doesn't mind doing background. I think he had got to a point where he's like, I'm not doing background. I don't mind still singing with other voices because it's not a competition to me. I understand some things are a competition, but for me, when it comes to singing, art, using my instrument, of course, I want space to be able to express myself and do me. And then there are times where I don't mind being a part of the ensemble and taking away my identity to match someone else's so that we can create a blend.
Right. And I love that you can see that, all of that. I think you take the ego out of it.
Yeah. That's why I can do my own tiny desk and then come back the next year and creative direct Teeter Moses while doing background.
Get into it. Do you think that there will be a moment where you're going to just stop doing background now? Where you're like, I'm good. I'm all right.
I would like to say, I would like for there to be a moment where, like for instance, okay, close your eyes, picture it. You're in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
3 rows from the very front, Adele.
Right.
Okay. The lights go out.
Yeah.
She comes on stage. She starts her number. The lights come up. And you see the background singers. And smack right in the middle, it's Beyonce.
Jeez.
Just hello from the, like, just information.
Uh-huh.
And could you imagine, like, could you, like, that's how I see myself.
Okay.
Like, you never know where you're going to find me. And that's what I love. You could find me doing background for Doechii, or I could be on Sesame Street somewhere, or I could do, I want wherever I can be utilized, I want to be there. And if I'm singing with people that I love or folks that I get along with, what's the issue?
Yeah. I think people get wrapped up with the idea of what music is supposed to do for them, and also just lose the love of music and doing things that you enjoy through music. It doesn't have to be something with a check all the time. Now the check got to be there, but I'm saying it can be something that you just enjoy.
Yeah.
And you're wrapped in music, and I absolutely love that. Like, when we look at you, we see music, and so there are also a few things that I do want to talk. Well, first, how do you measure success?
Me personally, I measure success by the extent of the things that my parents can witness me kind of flourishing through life. Like, that's my measure of success. So them seeing me be able to be a functioning adult and be able to sustain on my own, be able to create community for myself, to have support, to be able to help them, for them to just be able to witness what they've invested into this person, and that go out into the world, and parts of them are being loved in ways that they would not have been able to reach because of what they did for me. So that's where I measure success. Everything else is a perk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
what did they think of the Grammy nomination?
I mean, just over the moon, beyond proud, just yeah. And mom being my plus one was just
lovely.
Of course.
I love that. What did she think of Bloom, the album?
It's funny, she really likes the opener, Generous.
Mm-hmm.
What else did she say she liked? She likes Overqualified. another record called Completed, and the one song that I dislike the most, that's actually one of her favorites.
Probably everybody's favorite.
Which I'll be pinching Sean England every time I have to sing it. Every single time. I'm not like the last bend of this pointer finger is ready for your arm.
Wait, but why put it on the album?
Well, I left room for. Okay, so let me just go ahead and tell this story.
Please,
Okay, so
I need to know.
So I'm trying to record Bloom. I'm talking about love and community and frolicking through the garden. And he's like, okay, there, all the songs you in the love album, but where's the hurt?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, we talked about, no, I don't want to be moving my hips. I want to be in the corner, in the dark, sobbing and throwing up.
Yeah, same.
And so, we had to dig in a very unhealed place.
Okay.
And I was also leaving room for 2 songs on the album that I didn't necessarily like, because I understand that I might not see the vision for the song, but it could go somewhere. Patti LaBelle wasn't really rocking with New Attitude. Tina Turner was not messing with What's Love Got to Do with It. Toni Braxton did not like Unbreak My Heart. And Coco don't like none of the songs she sang SWV. Okay, not one of them, but she sang it with such conviction. However, when she sang Weak, she sang it with a complete attitude. Okay, I don't know what it is that you do, what you do to me.
But she does so well.
So and those records are what's keeping them to be able to perform to this day. 30 years later now. So I said, okay, I'm leaving room for 2 slots on this album where me liking the record is ornamental, not fundamental.
I love that.
So yeah, and it's only I dislike it because of the space that I had to dig from. It's actually a really beautiful song. And then once they added the strings to it, I really got annoyed because I'm like, God, this is beautiful. I really hate y'all.
Right.
So.
But some alts, we love unhealed music.
Oh, listen, I
hate to be the one to say
I already listen, and I know, and that is why, I left room for that is literally the only song that talk, because I barely touch on romantic love on the project. Even they were asking where are the songs about sex? We're not talking about that.
You don't always got to talk about sex.
There's a whole nother situation for that.
Absolutely.
But yes, no, but there is two or 3 situations where it's romantic love. We have the the hurt, and then we have the Will You Go With Me song. Yes, that's let's go together.
Yeah, no, I love me some unhealed music. I love me some heartbreaking music. That's why we get so excited unfortunately, when things happen to certain R&B artists.
I know.
And we be like, oh, that album's about to be crazy.
It's just, it is insane. But I will say, something that Leanne LaHavis was telling me, love her, that's my little beautiful.
Everything to me.
She said, we have to be able to relish in our happiness as well as our pain. So... yeah, but also, and there's a way to talk about happiness without it coming off as preachy or corny or out of touch. I think my approach and the ways and the stories that I brought from this this angle is just, it hasn't been talked about, and it's for us by us. Everybody else can experience it, but that's another thing. I'm probably I am the best version of myself today.
Right now.
Yeah.
How proud are you of yourself?
I'm proud to the point where I confidently say that I am shook for someone. To be able to experience this version of me, I'm shook for you that you get to, because sometimes we go through things in life and folks get the brunt of us. You can barely get a Happy Meal out of a bitch. But it's but when you have done the work to be open and receptive to love and wanting to just Do you watch anime?
No.
That's okay. That's okay. I got you. I'm gonna be ambassador for it.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So there is this series called Record of Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Netflix, and pretty much it's the gods being fed up with mankind, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get rid of y'all because of what y'all done to the earth. And the demigods came along and was like, well, wait, why don't we have a Ragnarok where y'all fight our strongest 13 humans against the gods that y'all want to, and we'll battle it out. And within that process, the humans connected with the Valkyries, and they created this thing called a Volander. Now, the Volander is a weapon of your choice that the Valkyrie turns into so that you can, use it in battle.
Right.
One of them had a condition, one of the humans had a condition where he was not able to utilize his muscles to his fullest potential, because if he did, he would die. It would kind of crush him. And so he was able to create like an outer shell over one layer of his muscles so that it wouldn't go past, And so when he got into battle, the Valkyrie, when it went to create the Volander, he connected it into his muscles. So he was able to utilize his muscles to his fullest potential ever in life. And I think I utilized that situation as being shook for somebody. Like,
right.
I'm in a position where I can be my most loving self.
Right.
I've learned how to be a great friend. Just with these relationships that I've had with my friends, I've learned how to be a good friend, a good listener, a good companion, all those things. And so now you get to experience the best parts of me in that area.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's and be able to love differently. Just different from what you used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And how that love, in any capacity, is and could be life-changing.
Oh, it is life-changing. Absolutely. Like, you meet people and it's like, where were you when I was growing up?
Right.
Or I'm just having a moment of thought of you without my life, and it's disgusting.
Right.
I don't even want to think about it.
And most importantly, you are who you needed when you were younger.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what would younger you say about this version of you?
I mean, the versions of me that are seeing this now are my inner child and my inner teenager, and they are able to witness these versions of myself that they didn't even think were possible, and as I said before, the saying, if I knew then what I know now, I know then what I know now right now, because I'm connected to those parts of me, and they remember what it felt like to have lack in certain areas emotionally, or just with self.
Yeah.
So this has been a beautiful ride. It's been an adventure.
A very beautiful adventure.
If you thought 5 goes west, bitch, okay.
Then also, I want to bring up, you yelled at me, and intensely. It was like painfully. It was you screaming at me.
What was this?
A curdle. When you sang Unknown, I didn't like how you. I really didn't like how you played in my face like that. And so I've been meaning, like, through all these questions is cool. But I had a problem. Because you think you better than me?
No.
Because the fact that you had said you're scared to fuck it up, because I'm scared to fuck up anything. I have severe disappointment phobia. I don't want to disappoint anyone, ever.
Where did that stem from?
Me just wanting to be a perfectionist. I think from childhood, I always wanted to make people proud. I've always wanted to do the right thing, and I always overthunk what it is that I need to be doing. I just was telling my friend earlier, I was like, I need to know, like, God needs to tell me now what the purpose is. Like, I would love for God to be like, hey, this is your purpose. Now, do what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And given, okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, what environments do you have access to that allow you to not have to be perfect?
Many. I think my friends and, my family, my chosen family, everyone, it's me. Mm-hmm. It's no one else. Like, I'm aware of that. I know that nobody is looking for me to be this picture perfect Scotty that doesn't do wrong, that's always, but I always want to make sure that everybody is proud. Always. And I've listened to Unknown a trillion, billion, quadrillion, fragillion times. Because scared to try too. I think there's a lot of people out there. This is why I made this podcast. Sometimes you could be so uninspired and just not necessarily see anything that makes you feel anything. And the reason why also I want you on this show is because you make me feel things, and you make a lot of listeners feel for sure. Like a natural one.
Like a natural.
Stop. That's why I have ADHD. You have to stop. I literally do this all the time. But to feel something. And so like scared to try really hit me hard when you said that, because there are people, and maybe you, who have fearlessly tried your whole life. But there are people like me who have fearfully tried, who fearfully try every day. And people think I'm so fearless. Like that's the thing that people say about me all the time. Scotty's so fearless. She say whatever was on her mind. She go back to back with whoever. Yeah, I do it, but I do it with fear. I do it full of fear. But I just love to do what I do. So I do it anyway.
I feel that that's what you call bravery. That's what you call courage. And I think when you're doing something, because you're courageous or because you're brave does not take away the fear of what it is that you're doing. No. It means that you have enough confidence within yourself to still push through.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I feel that you pushing through is you also advocating for your inner child.
All the time. Yeah. I said it in the episode before with Elle. I had talked about staying real close to your inner child, especially inner teenager. For me, it's the 13-year-old me.
Yeah.
I'd be pulling her around, child. She'd be pulling me around. We'd be pulling each other around. But I think she pushes me to do the things that I enjoy and not get so wrapped up in just work and purpose. And you got to, not take yourself so seriously all the time.
All the time.
But also I wanted to know, do you have any fears? Are there any fears of yours?
The first one that comes to mind is me dying and my house not clean.
Together? Like you dying and then they'd be like, damn, you was living in a...
It's like just catching me on an off day, like didn't get to do my laundry, like drawers is over here, instruments of pleasure is over there.
I'm about to say, because that's my fear. I be leaving my...
I need to just assign 2 people. Like if I go before I clean that house, please go raid it. I don't need Sherilyn seeing nothing.
I have one, Marie, my friend. I hope she's like, this girl done died. Let me go ahead and go to this girl apartment because this vibrator is probably somewhere on top of the TV, just hanging out.
Just
chilling.
Just chilling.
Weed somewhere else. You got.
Well, I mean, they're gonna see the weed, but everything else, Lord, just.
Yeah, panties. Well, my panties be somewhere else. But that's your fear. Your fear is just dying.
And the house is just out of order. Oh, God, please.
Because also they're probably going to make a reason. I will think. I'm an overthinker. So they're probably making reasons like, oh, he probably died because the pigsty, he just was depressed. And he was just living through. He just didn't know how to clean. And he just was so wrapped up in whatever he was going through.
Honestly, though, I mean, by that time, once I'm dead, like I'll be at peak fuck deficiency. Like I will not care. There will be no rolling around in my grave. I'm not using my afterlife energy to haunt nobody. Y'all can kiss my ass. I'm out of here. Okay, I've had enough of mankind. Okay, we have had enough. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I love too that you feel like, I feel like you've let go of a lot. Like bad. Take the trash out, kind of like.
Yeah.
And with letting go, you grieve. There's a lot of grieving that goes with, I think, letting go, especially old things, especially even if they don't serve you. I feel like still you will grieve those things.
Absolutely. It's the adjustment. Sometimes it's a sudden adjustment that we have no choice but to get acclimated to.
Yeah.
And there have been people that have physically died, before we had a chance to, complete things that we said we were going to do together, or, so I've had to pivot a lot.
Right.
It's staying adaptable. That's why I advocate for dandelions a lot. They call them weeds, but dandelion root, babes. Yeah.
What?
Oh, it just helps with your organs. Like it cures a lot of stuff.
I only know about the tea. So
I mean,
don't
listen,
know.
and also dandelions represent adaptability and resilience.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, no, I didn't know that about. That's your favorite flower?
As far as like what represents, the one right now is, it's probably the lotus, and that's because it represents grace.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you have grace for everyone, or just grace?
Grace where it needs to be. It's not an unlimited amount. Okay. The grace and mercy is sufficient. Okay. I didn't say it was unlimited.
True. That's a fact. I give grace a lot. I'm a graceful girl.
Yeah.
I will give a lot of grace.
So generous. Too generous.
Too generous. I will give a lot of grace to people, especially those that I love, because I know everybody is complicated, severely complicated. And so I try to extend grace wherever I can. But when did you start having grace for yourself and as an artist? I think sometimes, especially you, I don't think you're a perfectionist anymore. You possibly could have, because you had said previously that you had to let go of just perfection, period.
Yeah.
But when did you start to actually have grace for yourself and see yourself as a person who actually needs that as well?
I think when you are faced with the results of how you have treated people in your life, and a lot of those results are positive.
Okay.
It sometimes it can be a little jarring, just from the amount of trust, I guess, one can be insured with. Like when someone tells you that they trust me, like that sends a chill up my spine.
For good.
Yeah. It's like I trust you with my well-being, or I trust that you're going to make sure that I'm okay in this space, and so there's an extra, that I have with that. Not nervous, but just I'm honored.
And I feel like you as an only child, I feel like that. I have a friend who is an only child, a very close friend, and it's very hard for her. Now it's easier, but before it was hard for her to trust. She was just in her own world. She's in her own world. She doesn't really look outside of that world, and because it just was always only her and her parents.
Well, I had an advantage, at least, because there was one aspect of it that it was me and my parents, and then we had me and my cousins who would be over every other weekend, or sometimes, for a few weeks during the summer. We had kids that were on my block. We had, kids at church. We had kids at Cleveland Institute of Music and Playhouse Square and Karamu and going skating, and so I was socialized. I just didn't have to go to a building to kind of get my character development. So that was
right. Well, but still, I think that only children have a very different, I think, upbringing. I have a sister and a brother. Never got peace. I think you're just way more peaceful than I am.
Yeah, I mean, not only an only child, but I was homeschooled.
Right. That is amazing. I would love to try that. I think in my next life, I definitely want to be.
I was about to say that is when you think about it, it's ideal, and then you also have to consider, the conditions of what's going on. Back in the 90s, my parents were able to do that. My mom was also working from home. She was also been freelance for all her career. You know, yeah, she can work when she wants, how she wants.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, no, I think only child syndrome has been a thing, I think, that a lot of people talk about as far as just them not being big on sharing, having the things to themselves, and sometimes it looks differently as you grow up. And so, but Durand, you're perfect, clearly, because everything you've been like, yeah, so I've handled that. It's done.
You know, not at least I'll say this. I wouldn't say perfect. I would say I'll never give 100%. Ever. That is asinine to me. I'll give 88.
What do you mean?
Like just of anything.
Of anything?
Of anything. That is
Okay.
preposterous
Hold
to
Hold on. Because that's okay. So, because now I'm triggered. Hold on. So you give 88%.
Or I can give 92, or I can give a scientific 98.6, but I will not be giving 100%. You have to leave a little room for, like, as Antez Williams says, insurance for bullshit.
Huh.
Some room. That's that grace. That's, you know, that's your, if in the event I fuck up.
Wow. And you've never given 100%. Have you given 100% before? And you were like, you'll never, is that why? You'll never get that 100 from me ever again.
I think the only thing that I can think of in my mind that comes to mind was when I did my first like big choir ensemble stage production, Black Nativity, and I lost my voice opening night, like preview night, because I pushed so hard. And so that's when I was talking about singing smart. You know, work smart, not hard. So it's a way to maneuver things and utilize your instrument without straining, pushing, going beyond what you have. If what you're singing requires 85% of your voice and you only have 70, you better make work that 70.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, my teacher used to say, leave some room for God, because I over prepare. I prepare all the time. I prepare for everything. I want to make sure everyone knows that I know everything about everyone. I need to make sure that you know that I'm well researched and I know what I'm doing. And so when I used to present a bunch of stuff, especially for school, I used to just be like, and I did this and that and this and that and this. So, and she was like, okay, so where's the room for God? Where's the room for the unthinkable? Where's the room for the unpredictable, the stuff that you didn't see coming? Where's the room for that? And I was like, no, I don't want unpredictable. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I don't want anything that will come from the unknown.
Because that would keep you from being perfect.
Right. And we do perfect. But we don't. I don't do perfect.
Listen,
I don't. I do like a cool 99.
Come on, 99.
Okay, I hope to get to 88 one day.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
It's when you start focusing on the things that you have control over and you give the rest of that shit to the birds, I'm telling you, it just does wonders for your nervous system, on top of your environment and the company that you keep. Yeah. That will just, I'm telling you, babes,
and also to see yourself as enough.
Yeah.
Whatever you have is enough.
Speaking of that, I did an interview with R&B Only. Shout out to y'all over there. And they asked me what was my purpose, and I was explaining to them that I don't feel like there's a purpose that I have. I feel like me being is just enough, because a lot of times our worth and our value is contingent upon what we do, how we can do it for other people. And so me being myself, me having the community that I have where we can pour into into each other, that is enough for me. That's purposeful. That's of value. But I don't feel I have to do anything to be of value. Me just being myself uninterrupted, that's enough.
Of value. You try to read me.
Listen,
I know.
I mean, when the book is open, babe.
You know, I mean, clearly.
And it's a pop-up book. Like, what we talking about?
Hello? In your face. It's very here. You can see it. But that's very true. I think it's enough. Whatever I have is enough.
It's enough. It'll be enough for somebody. That's why when you said perfect, I giggle because I do say I am perfect for me. I am perfect for me. I can't speak for everybody else, but for myself, absolutely.
And that begins with defining, I think, who you are, and I think and what perfect is. You know, I think a lot of people don't do, including I think myself, because I do a lot of other stuff that I don't sit and ask myself important questions like, what is your enough? Like, what does that look like? You always think, oh, no, I don't do enough, because that's my thing. I'm not doing enough. Didn't I just say that, Marie? I just said that in the car. I said, I'm not doing enough.
Are you the type that will take your laptop with you on a vacation?
I absolutely will not.
Or you won't?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely. Would I? I will never do it.
Okay.
But no, I won't. But will I sit there on my phone and say, I definitely don't need to be here. I need to be home.
Like
doing something.
What's the longest
with my life.
What's the longest you've been able to just sit and not do?
I've had this shit. There's
I mean, I do too. I mean, but you know,
there's not a chance. That's why I weed, because I've been introduced to weed.
Weed.
I've been introduced to weed because it's very. I just started smoking this year.
Well, good for you.
Probably like November.
Good
right, Marie? We've been blowing it down.
Yeah. It's welcome to the party.
Yeah. So I've been learning to sit my ass down and be like, just sit down, watch a show, hang out, relax a little bit. But I think I spent a lot of time, especially even as a child, like when I wanted to be an actor and these things, I was like, I'm just not doing enough. And I was in Black Nativity. I played Angel 1.
I was one of the wise men.
You had a song.
Let me show you the way.
You had a solo?
God, yeah. I sang. What's my song? Not Most Untraveling. It was. I used to tear it up too. It was a fast song.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was working that.
Because I had me a little ballad.
Oh yeah.
I had me a solo.
No, my first one I did. I sang "Praying Spirit," the Clark Sisters version.
Oh. Yeah, no, I was 11.
Yeah.
And I sang it. And I don't remember the words, but I got a standing ovation.
Listen, come
I
on
thought
now.
you should know.
Listen,
Just in case. Just in case.
I mean, do you know the melody? You know, because that's what we really,
Melismatic for sure.
that part.
I'm that. Okay? But yeah,
I gotta be like that. I've literally been singing all the songs like randomly throughout, just so you know. So if you're like, where is that from? It's, yeah.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. But I appreciate you, Durand, for even sitting with me today and talking to me. I always respected and also honor your work. You have literally given feeling to a lot of numbing that has been felt throughout years, especially what's going on now.
Yeah.
But your voice has awakened a lot of spirits, who have been home, especially during COVID. Like, your art and your talent has saved lives. So I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited to hear the whole Bloom album. I'm like, what? Just send the full thing. Thank you. I deserve.
Yeah.
I am enough, Sean.
She said it.
And I 100%. Durand said I'm enough. So have me at my 76. But yeah, I really do appreciate you, and thank you for sitting with me.
Absolutely. This was a pleasure.
Right. And finally, my last question is, finish this sentence. Mm-hmm. I don't know why this is not working out, but
we gonna figure it the fuck out anyway.
Okay.
Because listen, sometimes folks give up a little too easily for me. It's kind of like folks, hit me with something. They'll be like, well, I tried to get through the front door and it didn't. It was locked. So I guess we're going to go, excuse me? There's a whole side door and a back door and some windows. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
All I heard was we just need to figure out another way to get up in that bitch.
Yeah. I don't think people know that there's a side door or a back door.
Well, because they're in
or
apartments.
Shit.
We ain't got no hot. They getting rid of all the house and shit. We just it's just adult dorm rooms that we got to experience.
But even if there's no doors, get a grenade. If there's no grenade, bitch, run through that wall.
I pitch with a grenade.
That's that. Yes, do that. So, yeah, I think people give up because they don't know that there are other resources, and people don't want to do research anymore. It's 2025. It's just not a thing. That's shit. Sorry. That's my last question too. As an artist, what is something that you wish new artists could do for their career? You think that's missing, that they're not doing anymore?
Maybe the first thing that comes to mind was maybe not try to go along with the trend. Like there is individuality that is being longed after. I forgot who I said this to. Oh no, I said this when I was preaching. Okay, so there are people that you don't even know that are counting on you to believe in yourself so that you can inspire them to be themselves.
That's very true.
So I think if we can get out of what the next person is doing, because my thing is, it's not a competition to me. It hasn't been a competition when you're the best.
I was about to say, Durand,
it's
can't.
Not a competition. And
because
one of the many things that makes me the best is that I don't feel that I have to do everything by myself. I understand that there is beauty in community and support in your tribe and reaching to the sides of you to help each other be elevated. So there is no ego with that. That's another thing that makes me the best. I can support as well as command the lead. Like I just want to be in the room. I just want to touch, even if it's a church clap, if it's just a and that's all you hear. You don't hear me ever again. Like that's what makes me the best.
Yeah. And you're the best. And that's what I think goes to just trusting your voice. You have got to trust your voice.
Yeah.
And we hear it all the time. With any time that you open your mouth, we hear it.
Listen,
so I appreciate you.
I feel like I'm giving a really solid template on breath control and just tone and duality and nuance and perspective. I feel like this body of work just kind of solidifies that. Every time I put out a project, I think, okay, this would be a good introduction to who I am as an artist. I feel this body of work really does showcase all of the different ins and outs of who I am sonically at this time.
Right.
And this is still scratching the surface.
Yes, we have so much more work.
More of you. She said, ooh, yeah.
There it is.
We miss you, Sunny Hawkins.
Thank you. I appreciate you.